What is good? What is up? It's Jordan or Texans Thoughts, and we're back with another live stream. Good to see y'all. It's been a minute. I apologize for not streaming last week. I was at the Senior Bowl, and we can talk about that quickly if you guys want to. But we've got a lot to talk about today because the Texans finally, they finally made their decision on the head coach for this next season, and it was an interesting one. It was one that pretty much no one saw coming because he wasn't even damn interviewed until recently. But that's going to be the focus of the day. Lovie Smith, best beard in Houston, is the head coach. Let's go, y'all. Let's talk about it. I mean, there's some good things, there's some bad things, and that's what I like to talk about. I like to look at all the different perspectives, and so that's what I'm going to provide. But what's up? We got our team leaders in the building. Ryan, Jay, Money, Matt. What's up, Joey? What's up, Willie Boy P, Alpha? We got Justin in the building. We got my boy Patty Storm. Shout out to the man, always treating your boy right. If you want to come on the stream, just shoot me a text. You know, for free if you can come on a little bit. We'd love to have you. Jair's in the building. Shout out to Jair. Shout out to Sam Houston. We got, who else? We got Pedro, Evil Soap, Juju. What's up, Money Matt? Let's go with the $100. Let's go. Starting off strong. As always, my guy, thank you very much. I appreciate you. You know how much I do, man. Yo, paychecks just go straight to my bank account, I guess, huh? Appreciate you, my guy. Lovie Smith, no matter what. Let's go. We got Beige in the building. We got Luis Salas. We got Alpha. Joey texts with $5. Says, hi, Jordan. I'm watching the stream with my daughter. Can you say hi, Angelica? Hi, Angelica. You got a great father who is a good damn person, man. So shout out to you. Shout out to Angelica. Shout out to Joey. Join the Discord for exclusive emojis and dank memes. My mods have been going crazy with the Discord. The link is in the description if you want to join the Texans Thoughts team. You get some exclusive access to our Discord, exclusive insights, some interesting stuff. So I really appreciate that, man. But let's get into it, man. We got a lot to talk about today, and I don't want to waste any more time with the introductions. So, Lovie Smith, head coach. My one line, kind of thesis, summary, whatever you want to call it with this is bad result, bad process, good result, solid result. Okay? Let's talk about Lovie Smith and who he is as a coach first off, before I lose y'all when I rant about the bad process that got us here. Lovie Smith, man, major thing with him is experience, winning experience, and the players love him. He's a player's coach. All right. You want to talk about experience. I always value experience. I've always wanted to go after the experienced guy rather than going after someone who this is his first shot or hasn't shown enough on his resume, right? So I would be a hypocrite if I didn't talk about Lovie's experience. This will be his fourth head coach gig, third in the NFL, all right? Famous for his run with the Bears, very successful team, 9 seasons there, had 5 winning seasons, made the playoffs 3 times, and went to the Super Bowl in 2006. Now they lost, but it's really hard to win a Super Bowl. So when he had that very talented roster with the Bears, he did good things, man. He did good things. Next head coach gig, he went to the Bucs, and they didn't have the same talent that the Bears did. And he went, I think it was 8-24 in 2 seasons, so not very good. And he got moved on, right? And then third gig, Illinois, again, not much talent, not much results. So what I took away from Lovie's experience as a head coach is, if you give him a playoff caliber roster, a Super Bowl contending roster, he'll elevate that and get some good playoff runs, 3 playoff runs, and going to the Super Bowl, right? That's good results, man. I will take that every day of the week. But what he might not do is kind of elevate a rebuilding roster and get them to that point where they are a playoff contender. Didn't do it with Bucs. Struggle with Illinois as well. So that's where it comes down to me, where it's a bit of a interesting hire from the Texans' perspective. Experience is great, but I don't know if he's really the best fit for this team. He's not the guy for the future, right? And I don't think the Texans are really trying to sell that as him as the guy for the future. I mean, he's 63 years old. This is going to be his 4th head coach gig, right? What it is it's another bridge coach. And I wanted to get away from that after David Culley, and I'm sure pretty much everyone wanted to get away from that from David Culley as well. But he's a better coach than David Culley at the end of the day. At the end of the day, he has far more experience than David Culley, and he's not going to make the same rookie mistakes that Culley made, managing the clock, fourth down decisions, stuff like that. You'd hope, at least. You'd hope after his fourth head coach gig. So what I see this hire as is a short-term improvement over David Culley. The team will be better with Lovie Smith as the head coach than David Culley, in my opinion. And it allows us to continue, or I guess keep the continuity. Can't hop on time, but I'm here if you want any dirt. Ooh, you know Patty Storm, man. He got it. He got it like that. The beard don't lie. Oh, I like that, Jay. I like that, Jay. Getting backing out is what screwed everything up. Yup. We'll talk about the other candidates, and we'll talk about the whole head coach search in a second. I just want to, give Lovie his flowers, because they could have, at the end of the day, they could have went with a far worse hire. If McCown was the hire, I don't even know if I'd be here right now. But at the end of the day, Lovie Smith, I see him as the short-term bridge coach who's an upgrade over Culley, can allow us to keep the continuity of his defensive system, the 4-3 Tampa 2 base. And we're keeping Pep, man. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing with this, is that we promote Pep Hamilton to the offensive coordinator position. Davis Mills gets to continue to grow with the guy who who helped him grow immensely throughout that season. Going from the beginning of the season, what Davis Mills was, to the end of the season, it's night and day, man. It's crazy. So Pep Hamilton absolutely deserves that opportunity, and I'm excited to see him as the sole offensive coordinator, get Tim Kelly out of here, and let's see what Pep can do. All right? So that's how I kind of see the Lovie hire. And kind of transitioning to, do Lovie call plays with the other head coach jobs? No. So Lovie was always defense guy. And his offenses never did well. So the whole thing about Pep getting that promotion is he's kind of trying to, how do I word this properly? If Pep is the guy that we all think he is, that I especially think that he is, he's going to mitigate Lovie's biggest weakness, which has always been his offense and his offensive coordinators. So that's, my sliver of hope, my positivity with this hire. Pat, we love all this info. I want to get in so bad. I know, Joey, man. God damn. Storm for head coach, Jordan for DC. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Pep head coach in a couple years, man. Maybe that's what I'm saying. So I've been saying this is kind of another bridge hire. And maybe Pep can be that guy. Maybe he's been our head coach of the future has been under our nose, right? This entire time. Because Pep's resume, man, I think it's deserving of a shot. At least an interview, man. At least an interview. It'll probably be his son. It might be Miles Smith as the DC, yeah. But, okay. We talked about Lovie. If you guys want to ask questions, I'll answer some more stuff about him later. I wanted to go over, because we're going to talk about his staff and whatnot. But before we get into that, before we get into the staff, before we get into kind of how this will shape free agency, how this will shape the draft, I want to talk about how we got here. Because while the NFL is a results-driven league, how you get to your results is predicated on the process that took you there. And I don't like saying this, but it's 2 years in a row where the Texans head coach hiring process has fumbled the bag. Man. Last year, it was reported we wouldn't give partial roster control to Eric Bieniemy. He gone. David Culley was the answer. It was bad process, bad results. This year, bad process, meh results with Lovie Smith. All right, so what was the bad process this year? The bad process this year stems from Nick Caserio, mainly, and partially Jack Huseby. I don't like to bring up that dude's name, but... Okay, let's start with Nick. Nick has kind of shown that he wants to have a lot of say over head coach duties. So he kind of wants to be a bit of a shadow head coach. What do I mean by that? Number one, with him being on the headset. He's been very adamant about staying on the headset with David Culley and with this potentially new head coach. And that's not gonna flow with every head coach candidate. They don't want a backseat driver. They don't want someone else speaking in their ear, giving advice. And yes, they don't have to listen to the advice. David Culley didn't listen to the advice, but like I said, you don't want that backseat driver. All right, you want to feel like you have full autonomy, full control over in-game decision which is what a head coach's job is. All right? You don't want to feel like you're being babysat. Okay, so that's number one with Nick. Number two is his adamantness. That's not a word. Y'all are going to have to take it. His adamantness to hire the coordinators for the head coach. All right? Take it for what you will. I don't pretend to get everything right when it comes to backdoor knowledge and sources and all that stuff, because it's a messy game. But and Pat said it earlier, Jonathan Gannon backed out, right? He backed out as the head coach. And what I was told is that Nick and the Texans in general were pushing McCown as Gannon's OC. They were pushing McCown as Gannon's OC. And then you see Ben Albright tweet out that, one of the finalists was given an ultimatum. There's your ultimatum, man. And then Gannon pulls out. Just connecting the dots, man. So, the fact that Nick is trying to hire the coordinators for the head coach is, again, him trying to do head coach duties as the GM. And that's not going to fly with every head coach candidate. It's not going to fly with Jonathan Gannon. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have flown with Brian Flores either. So, Nick Caserio has been kind of a roadblock in us being able to hire these great candidates. Jonathan Gannon, Brian Flores. I mean, we'd even interview guys like Drod Mayo, Josh McDaniels that we previously reportedly interested in. We didn't even get to interview Brian Dabble, Byron Leftwich, Nathaniel Hackett, who else? All those guys that got gigs. Matt Eberflus. We didn't even end up going after them. Why? I mean, I don't know this for sure, but I'm connecting the dots that they don't want to put up with the stuff that Nick is asking them to do as a head coach. They want full power over that. Because as a head coach, your odds to succeed are already so hard, so you want everything to be in your power, in your control, so you have control over it. You don't want to have a GM doing your job, and then that's the reason why you don't succeed. Thank you, Jabrailon, for the $5. I appreciate you, my guy. Thank you for the support. What is the fascination with McCown's crazy self-sabotaging potential hires? Bit of a power trip with Nick. This is what I'm trying to explain. Nick's bit of a power trip here, and I'll get to the reasoning why. I don't necessarily blame him for it, but it's still shitty and it's still hurting our chances of hiring head coaches. So, what's with it, man? Think about it like this. Nick has been with one organization his entire career before the Texans, right? He's always been with the Patriots. And Bill Belichick has always been his head coach. But Bill Belichick has also always been the shadow GM, essentially, since Nick has been there. And so, with that label, Bill Belichick has gotten some credit for kind of the roster decisions that they're making and some of the blame for some of the roster decisions that they've been making. But at the end of the day, it impacts Nick Caserio's reputation because it's like, what did Nick really do? What did Bill really do? Who had the final say on what decisions? Stuff like that. And so there's this whole debate over, the Patriots dynasty, man. It's Brady and it's Belichick. But Nick Caserio ain't really in that conversation. Right? So, being in the shadow of Bill Belichick, Nick comes to his own team. He's going to want to do it his damn way. He's not going to want to have another head coach who wants to do things the head coach's way and potentially a different way than Nick wanted. So he wants to control his own destiny, just like how a head coach wants to control his own destiny. You see what I mean? So in that sense, it's hard to blame Nick Caserio for going on this bit of a power trip because he wants to be responsible for his own destiny, but that power hierarchy doesn't really work too well in the NFL. You need to have cohesion. They need to be on the same page. You guys need to be able to compromise between the head coach and a GM. And there's not many head coaches in the league that are willing to compromise with Nick and his demands because they're unprecedented. It's unprecedented. It's not normal for a GM to be on the headset and giving the head coach advice and telling him what to do. It's not normal for the GM to pick all the coordinators for the head coach. Usually the head coach gets to pick their guys. Nick's ego will be his undoing. It is always with these ex-Patriot types. Nick been messing Houston over since he got stuck in New England over possible tampering charges, and we got GM Bill O'Brien, and GM Bill O'Brien made GM Bill O'Brien moves. Nick screwed himself over with pushing candidates on people they don't want. And you know what I came to the realization of? Today? Like I said, in Nick Casario's tenure with the Patriots, the only other team he's been with, he's always had Bill Belichick as head coach. He's never had to hire a head coach. Nick Caserio has never had to hire a head coach until he came to Houston. So he's never had that experience of going through that process, looking for the right credentials, right? And finding the right candidates. Nick Caserio has never had to hire a head coach before David Culley, before Lovie Smith. Well, I guess that doesn't make sense, but before David Culley. And boy does it show with his messed up process these 2 years. Boy, does it show. So, okay, Vincent, this is a good question. I wouldn't go that far. Vincent says, so basically what you're saying that Nick is just destroying the Texans. So I'm saying this stuff about Nick, about his bad process. But what that has done is it hasn't destroyed the Texans, but what it has done is two things. Okay, two things. So first of all, it has kind of stagnated the rebuild a little bit. It has stagnated. I wouldn't say it's taken a big enough step forward. I also wouldn't say it has taken a big enough step back. I would say it's stagnated because we got another bridge coach. Now with the continuity and being able to keep these guys that have performed in this scheme, I think the team will perform a bit better than next year. So if anything, you could say take a slight step forward. But no one here is really going to think that Lovie Smith is our coach of the future, right? And so in that sense, Nick missed out on an opportunity to take a bigger step forward towards progressing the future of this team. All right, so that's the first thing that Nick has done with this. The second thing Nick has done is, how do I word this? The second thing Nick has done, oh my goodness. Sorry, I just saw a tweet. Okay. Rick Smith was trash, surprised they didn't hire Flores. Lovie feels like the guy they want to grow the team into an 8 to 9 win team, so at the caliber of coach that it takes to win a Super Bowl. Really interested in this job. Yeah, that's an interesting take to it, Daniel. That's an interesting take to it. Would Deshaun stay with Lovie as head coach? I think Deshaun gone. And I'm okay with that because I'm not trying to support a guy with that many off-field allegations. It's just not the same to me anymore. He's not the same person to me anymore. Nick does want control over most things as a GM, but Lovie should know better than Culley did not get screwed over. I hope so, man. I hope so. I hope Lovie can make his choices for DC. I hope he was 100% okay with Pep. I hope he can bring in a good O-line coach. We need a wide receiver coach now, tight end coach, quarterback coach. A lot of coaches to be filled. So I hope Lovie can get his guys and run things his way, man. I hope. Assumptions and feelings, nothing confirmed. The only way to confirm things is to talk to Nick Caserio, man. So I don't know what you want me to do. Yeah, these are my thoughts. These are my Texans thoughts, man. At the end of the day, that's what my Twitter account, that's what my YouTube channel, that's what my writing has always been about. My thoughts. You don't like it? Cool. What do you think with the number 3 overall pick? Who do you think he brings in as DC? Okay, let's talk about the staff now. Let's talk about the staff of Lovie Smith because that is something that is going to be very, 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 very important in supplementing his coaching success for the Texans. So we know offensive coordinator is going to be Pep Hamilton. Love it. I made a video breakdown on this exact channel, film breakdown a few months back before the season started, talking about what he would kind of bring to that. So that's on the channel. It's kind of him and Tyrod, and the 6-minute mark is Pep. So if you want, you can skip forward to that. DC is a bit tougher. Shout out to Jair, JRLTU on Twitter. If you want to go follow him, he's got a lot of great. He's done so much good research on finding the connections between all of Lovie's past stops and trying to figure out guys for those position coaches. As for DC, this would be an interesting hire, and I think it would be the most obvious one to Lovie, would be promoting his son, Miles Smith, who was the linebacker coach for us last year, to DC. And not only because he is his son, and that'll be a pretty damn cool thing to do for Lovie, but because Lovie's not going to deviate from his scheme now that he's head coach. I don't believe so. I think he's going to stick with what has worked for him, right? And so who knows his system better than his own damn son? He's going to stick with that 4-3 Tampa 2, and why not give your son an opportunity as a DC? That's how I see it. Now, is that the fan of the? Am I a big fan of that hire? Not necessarily, because I think Miles is pretty unproven, but Lovie being the defensive guy that he is, he's going to have most control over the defense anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much to me. I think they're prepping Pep to be the future head coach. I hope so, man. I hope so. This is a good thing. Lovie hire. It's solid. It's decent. It kind of stagnates the rebuild. Still need to get the guy of the future, in my opinion, but it's not McCown. It's not Hines Ward. It's not Joe Lombardi, right? If you want some positivity. Miles as well as DC, you get an in-house interview for next head coach when the cycle starts up. It'll be a quick rise, man. Also, Lovie never disguises his coverages from what I've read. Yeah, I've showed y'all this on Twitter. I've showed y'all this on Twitter. There's things to like and there's things not to like about Lovie's scheme. He's definitely not perfect. I will say he got better over the course of the season of switching up his coverages from just cover 2. We still led the league in cover 2 played, but we were also 4th, I believe, in cover 3 played. And he did a little bit better about disguising, so we'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah, man, only 42 likes. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. We got 200 in the chat. Let's go. Appreciate y'all. Follow your boy on Twitter, Texans_thoughts if you haven't already. Instagram as well. I don't want McCown to be the head coach in 2 years. We'll see, man. I mean, the obvious hire for quarterback coach is definitely Josh McCown. It seems like the optics were too bad for him to hire as head coach, but as quarterback coach, personally, I think he's qualified for that job. I did not think he was qualified for head coach. I don't even think he'd be that qualified for OC, but as quarterback coach, absolutely. Absolutely. 20-year backup in the league, has always kind of helped out some quarterbacks along his way. Helped out Deshaun when he was here. So I think quarterback coach would be a good start for him, for sure. Rob Mayo as DC would be interesting. Very kind of polar opposite-y scheme-wise than Lovie. And I feel like he's in a better position to succeed in New England, where he kind of already has all the personnel tailored to his strengths. Whereas if he were to come here, we'd have to kind of switch a little bit more to 3-4. Or Mayo would have to switch his philosophy, which makes me think that's not going to really happen. Do you think Flores will land a job at all? I mean, DC is possible, but all the head coach jobs are done now with the Saints hiring Dennis Allen. But the NFL is a boys' club, and his lawsuit against the NFL is gonna plummet his chances of coaching. It's gonna plummet his chances of coaching. Cully is wide receiver coach. Nah, man, Cully can sit back and chill at home and eat up his paycheck, living the dream, man. Okay, what else did I want to talk about today? Talk about a little bit about the staff. We talked about the process. We talked about my general thoughts of Lovie Smith in general. Okay, let's talk about what happened with Gannon, Flores, and McCown, and what this decision means for Nick Caserio, and then we'll talk about free agency and draft. Okay. So what happened from what I know with Gannon, McCown, and Flores? I talked a little bit about Gannon earlier. He was Nick's guy. Very much so. He was very smitten after the interviews. Really blew Nick away. They both went to John Carroll University. Both from the Northeast Ohio area. At least. I don't know exactly, but North Ohio. And you talk to their you listen to their press conference, man, they're clones of each other, man. So that made a lot of sense that they were so interested in him. And it was damn close, but he pulled out. Took his name out the hat. Because they want to make McCown his OC. That's what I've been told. I can't guarantee that's 100% right, so I will admit that to you right now. That's what I was told, and it kind of makes sense. That's what happened with Gannon. He was very close to being the head coach, but he stood his ground. He wouldn't take Nick's power trip. Good for him, man. Good for him. As for Flores, there was definitely significant interest throughout the entire process. He was a favorite early on, but with the lawsuit, it made things more complicated. And I don't know as much about him as I know about Gannon. I don't know if he was officially offered the job. I don't know if he declined it. All I know is that he was definitely... It wasn't a sham interview. That's what I'll say. As for McCown, he's Jack's guy, is what I've been told. Nick likes him and thinks he's got potential, but he was not very sold at all as him as a head coach. And Gannon was his guy, like I said. So what basically happened is that the optics got too bad. The optics were too bad from the fan base, from McCown simply not being as experienced and having as good of a resume as the other candidates, and multiplied by the Flores lawsuit. It would be a horrible look for the Texans to hire the unqualified Josh McCown after firing David Culley after 1 year and not hiring Brian Flores, who is a far more qualified candidate. So optics got too bad for it, man. And thank God. So that's kind of my understanding of what happened with those three finalists, quote-unquote finalists. Last thing I guess I wanted to bring up regarding the whole finalist thing is when Aaron Schefter tweeted out that the Texans have been having discussions about Lovie this entire time. He was very vague about how he worded that, and I have no doubt that they were keeping Lovie in the mix, in the know throughout this entire process, but it wasn't about, oh, you could be a head coach. You could be the head coach. No. I think it was more about, okay, if this guy's the head coach, if Gannon's the head coach, he's not going to bring you. If McCown's the head coach, he'll bring you. If Flores is the head coach, he's not going to bring you. As DC, I mean. That's what I think it was about. Jack needs to get the window. Yeah, man. And that's what we're kind of going to get to this next part. Before we go into how this impacts roster decisions in terms of free agency and the draft, what does this hire mean for Nick Caserio and Jack Easterby? Mainly focusing on Nick here because Easterby's just kind of this anomaly that I don't really know what the hell's going to happen with him, man. He's got Cal wrapped around his finger. But with Nick Caserio, man, we talked a lot about how most GMs don't get a third head coach. Most GMs don't get a third head coach because by then it's like, okay, are the head coach the problem or is the GM the problem? And they're gone, right? But this is a very unique situation. And I think Nick hiring Lovie kind of further supports the fact that Nick might just have the most secure GM job in the NFL. He's up there, man. He's up there. And that's because of the guy who got him the job, Jack Easterby. And Jack Easterby is Cal's guy. So it all comes back to that, unfortunately. So, do I think Nick Caserio is on the hot seat now that he's made his second head coach hire? Nope. Not one bit. Not one bit. Because of what I just said with Jack, but also, and kind of more importantly, because of the type of coach that Lovie is, because that he's seen as a bridge coach. So can you really, judge Caserio on these first two coaches, on Culley and Lovie? I mean, you can to an extent, but it's going to be really hard to fire him if he makes good personnel decisions. Now, if he shits the bed on personnel decisions, on the draft, on the free agency, on trades, okay, that's a different story. But based off of these two hires, it's kind of tough, man. It's kind of tough. So I don't think he is really on the hot seat. How long would you give old Casserole to be on the hot seat? That really depends, like I said, on the personnel decisions that he makes. If he fumbles the Deshaun Watson trade, if he fumbles the draft, if he fumbles free agency, then we start having that discussion. But until then, we've got a lot more of the offseason to go. The head coach is one part of the puzzle. It's a pretty damn big part of the puzzle that's put in right now, for the time being, for probably the next 2 years. But it's only one piece of the puzzle. And so let's get into the rest of the piece of the puzzle. Let's talk about what the Lovie Smith hire and the Pep Hamilton promotion means for this roster of the Texans. Because what Nick Caserio has done with this hire is kind of made his job tougher, kind of reduced his margin for error to build, the best version of the Texans that he can possibly build. Would I preferred he went with a different coach? Absolutely. Am I going to root for Lovie Smith? Absolutely. But Nick's made his job harder, man. He can't miss on these next parts of the offseason. And so with the draft, what are we going to do at 3? I've seen that question a lot on Twitter. I've seen that question a lot in the stream. And so to answer that, thank you. I got to get a new thing for that. Ryan J, what you think for a new animation for the donos? But thank you, Jabrailon, for the $5. He says, everyone says that most GMs only get 2 coaches guaranteed, barring ownership changes. If Nick screws up, Royal Jack should be out the door with him. I hope so, man. I hope so. Because I'm losing faith in Nick Caserio, man. I am. I would love for him to prove me wrong. Wasn't a fan of the hire since day one. Want to buy in because he's our GM at the end of the day. And he's done some decent things. Don't get me wrong. He's done some decent things. But this offseason, man, these rest of these decisions are going to be huge. Joshua Stanley with $10 says, sorry, man, I've tried. I just can't support Nick anymore. Feels like another guy that wants to be the coach and GM. Just like Bill O'Brien, but in reverse. I share your feelings, Joshua. I share your feelings. There is no need to apologize because I do, and I know a lot of other people do as well. A lot of people are upset with Nick. This is pretty much an all-time low for his stock on the casserole scale. I mean, that dude is I don't even know, man. Think about the worst casserole you can think of. The beer don't lie. It has to be a super cash thing. Okay. We could get that going, Jay. We could get that going. I like that. So I feel your pain, Joshua, and thank you for the $10. I appreciate that. Thank you for Black Gold Nation for subscribing. He's definitely on strike 2 right now. It's bad. I mean, okay, so when I talked about the whole hot seat thing, I think he's on the hot seat for the fans, but I would not say he's on the hot seat in terms of ownership. That's just to make that clarification. Nick downgraded to the green bean casserole. Exactly, man. Exactly. Okay, so let's talk about roster decisions, what this means for scheme, for the personnel, because that's my favorite thing to do at the end of the day. As a Giants fan looking in from the outside in, why not trade Brandon Cooks and get a second or third? Hey, I'd be all down for that. If you can give me a second round pick, early second, because it's the Giants too, done deal, man. Done deal. We got to spark that rebuild somehow, man. What do you think of Marinelli as a possible DC with his relationship with Lovie? I like Marinelli. I like him a lot as a D-line coach. He's an okay DC. He would definitely fit Lovie's philosophy. So I think that would be one of the better ones we could do, get an experienced guy in here. I would like it a lot more than Miles Smith for sure. And he coached up Malik Collins in Dallas when Malik Collins had his best years. So, wait, actually, did they coincide? Did they? I'm pretty sure they did, but I'll double check that later. Well, we do need a D-line coach. Yeah, he's the current D-line coach for the Raiders, so I don't know if he would make a lateral move, but he might get fired with Josh McDaniels being there. Have you been going to the gym? Thomas, you are too kind, man. You are too kind. I have been. I've been trying to work out since past summer, so it's been like 6 months. So thank you, man. I've been really trying to work on my fitness. Get in better shape, because I was not in great shape before. I'll admit. I appreciate you for noticing, my guy. We need all types of coaches. I agree. How are you in getting Thibodeau at 3rd? Okay, let's talk about this now. It's enough diddly-daddlying on my part. Let's talk about the draft. My favorite time of the year, man. Thank you, Albert. Shout out to Albert. Just tweeted me, just DM me, said he loves the stream. Appreciate you, my guy. Let's talk about the damn draft, man. Texans at 3, baby. I'm excited for it. Putting the emotions of this head coach hire aside and the process, I gotta say, that really pissed me off. Putting that aside, man, I'm so excited for the draft because at 3 we have a chance to really draft a blue chip prospect and finally add some damn elite talent to this Texans team that we've been so starved of, man. So I'm really excited about it. Jerome, thank you, my guy, for the $7. He says, I love the Lovie hire. No pun intended. Demands respect and has experience. Pep being OC is great. I agree with the points you've made, man. I agree with the points you've made. Experienced. He's a winner. He's a player's coach. Pep as OC is great, man. Would I have liked we go in a different direction? Yes, but at the end of the day, the results were pretty decent, pretty solid. Edge or OT? That's the question, man. Sorry, I just want to wait for that to play. Edge. I think the question really is Edge or Kyle Hamilton. So, especially at 3, and with the Jaguars, there's a lot of smoke around the Jaguars. One, is to take an offensive tackle. Number 1, to protect Trevor Lawrence. Number 2, Doug Peterson was the hire. And Doug Peterson has been around Jason Peters with the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. And Lane Johnson, right? He knows how valuable tackle play can be. So, Evan Neal, Ikem Ekwonu are going number 1 in most mock drafts. If that happens, at 2, the Lions take one of Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson. And that means at 3, one of those edge rushers is there and Kyle Hamilton is there. So you got to make a decision right there. It's a tough decision, man. And if Brian Flores was the head coach, if Gannon was the head coach, I'm going Hamilton. But with Lovie, it makes it a bit more of a discussion. And you're starting to have the discussion of team fit versus who is truly the best player available. If you want to go pure team fit, go with one of those DNs, whichever DN falls to you. Because Lovie's scheme is so predicated on the D-line. The D-line is the engine of that defense. It's the most important position group. That's what everything revolves around for him. Because what he wants to do, we know he loves Tampa 2, right? So Tampa 2 means 2 safeties deep. And so that means you don't have an extra safety in the box. So that means you have to defend the run with your 4 D linemen and however many linebackers you were playing there in the front 7. And so there's added emphasis on the D line being able to wreak havoc in the running game, but also in the passing game. Lovie Smith is not a big time blitzer, right? He wants to rush 4. He wants to rush those 4 defensive linemen and rely on that and be able to sit back in coverage. So if you have a dominant D line, it makes it work, man. Look at the Bears defense when he took them to the Super Bowl. It works, man. And so getting a Kayvon Thibodeau, getting an Aiden Hutchinson would absolutely be huge in that regard. I'm a big believer in both of them. I think Aiden Hutchinson is a little bit more polished coming out of college with his technique, with his pass rush plan and his pass rush setup. And so there's less work you need to do, whereas Kayvon Thibodeau needs a little bit more projection, a little bit like Clowney. He needs to kind of clean up the technique, just be more consistent overall. And so there's a question mark there: does he have the work ethic to really get there? And I mean, I can't know for sure, but there's a bit more of a question mark there than with Aiden Hutchinson, who we saw improve so much in college and has such refined technique that we know he has that work ethic. So I kind of lean Aiden Hutchinson there, just so that we have kind of a sure thing. Now, I talked about team fit and how team fit is definitely better go with the DNs. But then there's the argument of who really is the best player available. Because for me, the best player in this draft is Kyle Hamilton or Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson. That's my kind of big 3. And I'm going to do one more, my second run through of their film to really kind of finalize who I think is the best. But Kyle Hamilton is a damn good argument for being a better player than Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau, man. He does. We've seen Aiden Hutchinson be schemed out of playoff game versus Georgia. We've seen Kayvon Thibodeau be schemed out of his playoff game versus Utah. Not playoff game, bowl game. We've seen them kind of be taken out of a game, right? I've never seen Kyle Hamilton be schemed out of a game. Never. Never, man. He is a playmaker. You want to talk about Lovie Smith and turnovers? Kyle Hamilton will get you turnovers, man. I mean, he can play both safeties. He's got crazy range, crazy instincts to go get you interceptions. They play him at nickel corner a lot too. He's going to man up slot wide receivers. He can play zone there as well. And having a big nickel like him, 6'4", 220, that's huge for Lovie's system, man. That's huge. And then there's also reps of him on passing downs playing as linebackers. So in Lovie's scheme, he can go play that middle linebacker and finally give us that guy to control the middle of the field. And we don't get picked on. Christian Kirksey doesn't get picked on anymore there. Senior Bowl recap, I got you after we talk about this personnel stuff, Justin. So, I mean, it's an argument to me, man. I don't know the answer right now between Kyle Hamilton and one of those pass rushers. I would urge you to form your own opinion, watch your own film, and come back to me and provide your insights, man. Let's have a discussion about it. Kyle Hamilton is an ideal modern-day safety. Even if safety isn't as valued as edge, I think he's the best defensive player in the draft. Preach it, James Harden, 3-time defensive player. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, man. We're not supposed to throw around the term generational very often, but Kyle Hamilton is as damn close to generational as it gets, man. I mean, he's got some Troy Polamalu to his game. I like to say he's a 6'4" version of Tyrann Mathieu, which is absolutely insane if you think about it, because he can play free safety, he can play some nickel, he can play some linebacker, but he's 6'4", 220. He's an absolute dog on the field, right? So he's crazy, man. He's crazy. Kayvon seems like the next Clowney, tons of potential and skill, but injury concerns coupled with a ton of his hype coming off what he was thought of high school. Yeah, I see that a little bit. I smashed like many times. Thank you, Vinny. Shout out to Vinny coming here. Kyle Hamilton next. Justin Reed is crazy, scary. I think Justin Reed's probably going to go, but his market won't be as high as he thinks it is, so he might come back to the Texans, man. Who knows? He definitely likes Lovie Smith, so that'll be interesting. Super Bowl head coach over first-time high school head coach. Absolutely, man. Absolutely better hire than McCown. Hamilton reminds me of Sean Taylor, RIP. Yeah, he gets that comparison a lot. I see it as well. Hard hitter, ball hawk, super instinctual, always around the ball. It's going to be really interesting, man. I'm probably going to have a film breakdown on him soon just because I finally got some Notre Dame All-22, so be on the lookout for that. We're going to have a combine this year. Yes, sir. It's back. What do you think Lovie hire does for Justin Reed? I think it slightly improves the odds of him coming back, but not substantially. I think the odds of him coming back are more predicated on what he can get contract-wise from other teams. So that's kind of my thought process at 3. Honestly, either or, whatever decision that they make, I'll be happy with it. If it's as long as it's Kyle Hamilton or one of those edge rushers. So they're kind of in a pretty good scenario, just being able to take whoever kind of falls to them and just not mess up the decision. For those going with the offensive line, thinking Ikem Ekwonu or Evan Neal, I think what my thoughts on that are essentially one offensive lineman doesn't elevate an offensive line enough to make it worth taking him at 3. If that makes sense. Laramie Tunsil is as good as it gets as a pass protector, but the offensive line is a 5-man unit. And so he can't make up for Nick Martin. He can't make up for Zach Fulton. He can't make up for, I don't even know who played our interior offensive line this year, man. Can't make up for Charlie Heck, you know? You can't make up for, what was his name? Justin McRae. So I think we should definitely prioritize offensive line, but do it later in the draft. Do it in the second round. Do it in the third round. Do it in free agency. In top 3, man, that's your blue chip guys. And I think Kayvon Thibodeau, Aiden Hutchinson, Kyle Hamilton are all better than Evan Neal and Ikem Ekwonu. They're a tier above, in my opinion. And that's in terms of talent, and that's also in terms of positional value. Malik Willis at 3 for someone else. Yeah, that's the other discussion, man, is definitely trading down. And Nick has been very clear and very, very open about it, which is weird. In his most recent press conference, he was very open about the Texans being for business with that third round pick, man. And he doesn't do that. Nick likes to hide in the shadows. Nick doesn't like to say a lot of things. He doesn't like to reveal his intentions. So that one was weird to me, man. He really let that one slip. So he's open for business. It's gonna remain to see what offer we can get. That's what I always come back to whenever someone says, should we trade down? Trading down is always great in theory, but it really depends on what offer you get. Are you going to get a team desperate for a quarterback like the Niners last year and trade 3 first-round picks to go get Trey Lance? Possible. Doesn't happen that often, but it's possible. Or are you going to trade down to the early teens and pick up a first and maybe a third, something like that? I don't know if that'll be worth it. Because again, in my mind, this draft has 3 blue chip guys. The edge rushers and Kyle Hamilton. And then there's a drop-off. So you have to kind of calculate how willing are you to take that drop-off. What I will say is someone that I would love for them to go after if they do trade down, George Karlaftis, edge rusher out of Purdue. He would be a very good consolation prize to getting one of the other edge rushers. Or Treylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas, man. Wide receivers add a lot of value to an offense, and this offense badly needs help. And Treylon Burks, man, he's a unicorn, man. You want to talk about the next Deebo Samuel? He might be it. He's very different from any other wide receiver. There's some A.J. Brown to him. There's some Deebo Samuel to him. So I'd definitely think about him. What's the deepest position group in this year's draft? Ooh, that's tough. Maybe running back or running back, linebacker, or tight end. It's kind of a weird year where the traditionally non-valuable positions like running back, like linebacker, like tight end are the deepest ones. So it's like you kind of want to get your blue chip guys at your premium positions early, like defensive end, like tackle. Not like quarterback this year. Quarterback class is pretty hot doo-doo. Deepest might be corner. Yeah, maybe. There's some interesting corners for sure. If the Texans can drum up competition for quarterback at 3, you trade back, but only if you can get excellent value for that. There you go. Jay says it perfectly. Jay says it much better than I could have ever. Steve says, or I would even look at trading 3, getting big clowny vibes with Kayvon. I hear you, man. Vincent, sorry, man. Jordan, please answer my question. Since we got Lovie Smith, a lot of people like him. Do you think we're going to get a free agency? Do you think we're going to get a big get in free agency? The interesting thing is that like a lot of our players love Lovie Smith, and so they're going to need to kind of be salesmen for him because Lovie had that long stint with Illinois, 5 seasons with Illinois. And so the players that are going to be free agents right now, they don't really know Lovie like that from having played for him before in the NFL, like with the Bucs. That was Lovie's last stint as a head coach. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot of players who have already played with him that are being like, oh yeah, I trust Lovie. I've been a player of his before. So let's go to the Texans. So our players that are voicing their big support for Lovie, they're going to have to show up. They're going to have to back that up and be salesmen for Lovie Smith. They really are going to have to. If that happens, I can see it. But I wouldn't expect us to get, a big dog, like a max contract type of guy, or like a Pro Bowler. But what we need to do is add more Malik Collinses, add more Cam Grugier-Hills, Desmond Kings, guys like that. Just hit the singles and doubles and slowly build this team and prioritize the draft. Man, I'll tell you this. It sure is nice having Pat Storm as a great friend, man. It sure is nice. Getting to learn certain things. That's interesting, y'all. Okay, let's talk about general draft stuff. With Lovie Smith as head coach, we talked about the decision at 3. The other things philosophically is, like I said, building that defense. And so if ideally you get your star edge rusher at 3, but throughout the draft you can look for certain guys. Maybe it's Arnold Ebiketie or Majai Sanders in the second round. Maybe it's, who else do I like as a 4-3 guy? Jesse Luketa out of Penn State, maybe in the 3rd round. I would like those guys. And then the other big time position is the 3-tech defensive tackle. And hopefully Malik Collins is brought back. But if not, they are really going to have to go after that. And a good options for that role in the latter half of the 2nd round, say we get that Deshaun Watson, the 2nd first-round pick, I'll be looking at Devontae Wyatt for sure. 2nd round, I would definitely be looking at Logan Hall out of Houston. Parham Winfrey, honestly, I might even take him in the 1st round. That dude is a dog. He was the killer. He was the big-time winner of the Senior Bowl. Devontae Wyatt, there you go, Balin. Later round guys. Not many later round guys. Later round guys are more 1-techs. But those are definitely the 2 biggest needs for the Texans, D-end and 3-tech defensive tackle. After that, I would look at linebackers. I'm not too big fan of Christian Kirksey. I think his tackle numbers look good, but they're kind of pumped up, and not the most valuable tackles. Cameron Goodrich Hill, I would love for him to be back, play that will role for us. In terms of a Mike linebacker in this class, if you can get Nakobe Dean with that 2nd first-round pick, that would be absolutely money. Who else? I really like Quay Walker. Out of Georgia as well. I think him in the 2nd round will be cool. I think if you want a very much a hybrid kind of linebacker that's going to be really good in coverage, Brian Asamoah is my guy out of Oklahoma. He was really good in the Senior Bowl, very athletic. He's a little bit undersized, more of a 3rd down guy, but he's really good in coverage. As a developmental guy in the later rounds, Troy Anderson out of Montana State did very, very well in the Senior Bowl as well. His coverage abilities, his ability to recover in coverage, he was very good, showing out in man coverage versus running backs and tight ends. So he'd be kind of the developmental guy. Give me Dean or give me death. Let's go, Jay. Let's go, man. That dude is a dog. After that, the secondary isn't as important as the front 7 in terms of Lovie's scheme. I think they're probably going to be fine with Terrence Mitchell as one of the corners. I don't know if Desmond King comes back or not, but out of cornerbacks, what you essentially want are guys with height, guys with long arms, guys who can be physical, guys who are smart in zone coverage, and guys who tackle. I want another outside cornerback who can tackle his ass off, because that was one of the big reasons why our run defense was bad, man. Devin Lloyd guy. Yeah, man, he'd be cool. He'd be cool for sure out of Utah. Do you think the Texans should focus more on defense or offense line on draft day? Definitely offense. I mean, if you can get those blue chip guys at the 3-tech defensive tackle and the defensive end opposite Jonathan Grenard, go for it. But the offense needs more help than the defense. And I think that's one of the benefits of keeping Lovie Smith. If the defensive scheme stays the same, then you don't have to switch to a 3-4 or something like that. And you can pour more resources into the offense, which needs more help, man. Needs more help. I want Kobe Bryant in the mid-rounds. I like him as well. Kyler Gordon's a freak, man. Tavier Thomas Pro Bowl season coming up. Let's go, man. Yeah, I'd be cool. I'd definitely be cool with him as a nickel. I think 2 of your kind of corners are set between Terrence Mitchell and Tavier Thomas. So just getting one more guy would be ideal. And then safeties, you kind of need safeties who are better in coverage than they are at tackling, because with all the 2-deep safety that you play, they're not coming up in the run too much. It's not like a quarters style defense where they would, but in 2-deep, you need guys with range, man. You need guys with instincts. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you for the 279. He says, I love Trent McDuffie. I love him as well, man. He would definitely be a very good fit for this scheme. Very smart guy, quick processor, comes downhill quickly. Good in that, cover 2 zones, cover 3 zones. The perfect corner for this scheme is Andrew Booth out of Clemson. He's the best tackling corner in this class. He tackles like a damn safety. Really good instincts in zone, good ball skills, got the size for it. He's just a dog, man. He's an absolute dog. So definitely look out for zone corners and safeties with range, man. All right, let's talk about Senior Bowl, because y'all are talking about it. We'll stick with the draft stuff, and then we'll go to free agency. I talked a little bit about it, who I would want to stay, but let's go to the Senior Bowl. Any Senior Bowl standouts you think we'll target in the mid rounds? Senior Bowl standouts. I really like Jesse Luketa, man. He really, I loved his tape at Penn State, and he just further cemented it, showing off his versatility at the Senior Bowl. So at Penn State, he mainly played linebacker, a lot of Sam, so on the strong side, and he was really good at run defense, really good at taking on blocks, just being a physical dog out there. And he showed a little bit of coverage potential as well. He's athletic, he's fluid, good awareness, and so that was impressive, his tape. But then at the Senior Bowl, they moved him down to edge, and really showed off his versatility because he showed improved pass rush skills, man. He was really good at setting up offensive tackles. He'd fake outside, go inside. He would use his hands really well. He's just showed off his athleticism. So I really like Jesse Luketa. In third round would be ideal. That's my big winner on defense. My big winner on offense would be Christian Watson, man. Christian Watson, probably the biggest winner of all the Senior Bowl because he had some competition questions to answer, being from North Dakota State University. You know, that's a university that just runs that division. No competition for them. And so he had some competition questions to answer, and he was the best damn wide receiver out there. People were not covering him in one-on-ones. His route running ability, his ability to attack cornerbacks, leverage, sell like he's running one way, break the other way. At 6'4", 215, he was doing it all, man. He really reminded me of Mike Williams out there. Mike Williams, like, great size, great body control and hands with contested jump balls, back shoulder phase, just like Christian Watson. But Mike Williams is also a really underrated route runner, man. Really underrated route runner. So that's kind of my comp for Christian Watson. He's getting first round hype now. I don't think teams are going to pull the trigger that early. I think he's going to be there in the second. So that would be interesting for sure if we want a weapon. I tried to put you on Watson before the Senior Bowl. Hey, Ryan's my guy. He knows his shit. Shout out to Ryan. Some other guys. Yes, Tariq Woolen. Balin, great name, man. Him and Mario Goodrich were my winners for cornerbacks. Woolen is a beast, dude. 6'3", with 33.5-inch arms. He's built like Cam Chancellor almost, man. He was a big, long-ass dude, and those long arms help you so much to be able to get your hands in passing lanes. Big advantage there. And he moved really well at his size. Usually corners his size do not move that well. They're a little stiff in the hips, and so they struggle to keep up when wide receivers are running good routes. But Woolen, he was smothering dudes a lot of the reps. So I like him. One guy I really liked for this scheme is Mario Goodrich out of Clemson. So he's the running mate of Andrew Booth. And they're similar in terms of their strengths and their weaknesses. But Goodrich is kind of just like a poor man's version of Booth. And so getting him in the third round will be really ideal. Goodrich is like 6 foot, like 190. So kind of average measurements. In terms of athleticism, he's not super freaky athletic, but he's very quick, very fluid. And so he can change directions quickly. And that's what you really want to look for out of cornerbacks. I thought he had really good awareness in zone coverage. He was really good at reading the quarterback's eyes and kind of baiting throws really well. So that's going to be huge as well, like I mentioned, for Lovie's scheme. Getting those corners who can play zone coverage well. And then he was a very willing tackler. Now he needs to clean up kind of his technique a little bit, but the effort was there. And that's the main thing you want, because you can coach up the technique. You can't coach up the effort for the most part, man. He's kind of like Lonnie, I feel like. A little bit. Balin's talking about Tariq, I think. A little bit, man. Jay says that for those of y'all joining the team, click to see the perks button and join the Texans Thoughts team Discord. Come chop it up with us. Yes, sir, man. Links in the description if you want to support me a little bit more, man. I have some membership tiers for y'all. Joining the Texans Thoughts team. First tier, $3.99 a month. Get access to our exclusive Discord. Just hang out, talk ball with us, ask me questions. I got you. Second tier is being a team leader. And so what that gets you is the ability to call into the stream. And with that said, we're going to get some of our team leaders in here in a few seconds. But yeah, man, that one's $9.99 a month, something like that. So yeah, those are my Senior Bowl standouts. Just to quickly rapid fire off some other names. I won't really go into depth of breaking them down, but Travis Jones had a week. absolute dominant nose tackle who would fit well as a one tech for us, but we got Roy Lopez. Logan Hall out of Houston, man, really good 3-4 defensive end. Could play some 4-3 tech. Who else? Cole Strange, offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman out of Chattanooga. Was a guard at Chattanooga, played center at the Senior Bowl, looked really good. I think he would be a great developmental guy in the 3rd round. Potential starter at guard or center. Jonathan, what's up, my guy? It has been a while, man, but we back. First, most of the stream was talking about Lovie. If you want to check it out, replay the stream. Who are some other guys? We talked a lot about defense. Safeties, JT Woods and Jalen Petra, they're my guys, man. Baylor guys, shout out to Ryan as well. They really showed out, man. Petra's versatility. He was guarding running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers. And then JT Woods had the game-sealing interception during the game, man. Great ball hawk. I would love him in this scheme as a free safety. Thoughts on Petra? There you go. I just got you, Mike G. I just got you. Petra can be a perfect star in this role, in this defense, in Lovie Smith's Tampa 2 4-3 defense, as a safety nickel hybrid, linebacker hybrid. He would kind of play Tavier Thomas's role, but Petra's a damn good blitzer, which I would love for us to add. In terms of the offense, do I think the NFL gave Houston money to hire a black coach? Hell no, I don't. I don't think they could. I don't think they did that at all. In terms of the offense, I mentioned Christian Watson. The wide receivers had a good day, man. A good week. Velus Jones Jr. out of Tennessee, prolific returner and great yak threat, and he showed improved routes, so that was huge. Who else? Khalil Shakir showed really good routes out of Boise State. He'd be a great slot option. Calvin Austin was really hard to guard, man. His speed is just insane. So he's a small guy. He's 5'7", 170. So he's small and he's light in the pocket. But day 3, man, he's electric. Who else? Offensive line. I mean, Zion Johnson was the best player there. He played guard last year, left tackle the year before, and he played center at the Senior Bowl. So he really impressed scouts. He would always stay late after practice to perfect his snapping, which shows off his work ethic. So people are really high on Zion Johnson. He elevated his stock to like top 20 for sure. That was big. What else? Offensive line we talked about. What other interior guys? Not many other interior guys. Dylan Parham out of Memphis. He was the other interior offensive line guy. Really wanted the Texans to boost up the interior of the offensive line. Tired of this bad interior O-line play. Parham was interesting. He's a former tight end, so he's still been bulking up, but now he's up to 315, and he looked damn good at his size. He knew how to control his body at that size, which was huge. Would you play Zion on our line? Definitely left guard. Titus left tackle, Zion left guard. You're chilling, man. You are chilling for a decade. Kyle Hamilton at 3. We talked about it a little bit earlier, Max. I'd be down. I'd be very down. Him or one of the DNs. Don't matter really to me. Don't really matter to me. It's a hard decision to mess up. As long as one of those guys, they ain't messing it up. Do we get a running back and draft some free agent? Okay, this is a perfect segue to talk about running backs that showed out. Damien Pierce out of Florida. Tough runner, great pass protector. He showed out at the Senior Bowl. Rashad White out of Arizona. I didn't love his tape, but he was so good at the Senior Bowl that it's making me go back and watch the tape a second time. He had, I think all 3 of the longest runs throughout all practices in the game were all Rashad White. So he showed up good vision, good burst, man. What other running backs? There was someone else I wanted to talk about, but now I can't remember. I love the fullbacks. And with Pep Hamilton being the OC, he's going to run a lot of power run game. And when it's time with the Colts, they had these fullback / H-back hybrids. And that's kind of who these 2 fullbacks are that were at the Senior Bowl. Jeremiah Hall out of Oklahoma and Connor Hayward out of Michigan State. I would definitely recommend watching them on YouTube and seeing what they're about, because they're both good receiving threats as well as being good blockers, man. So very interesting. Abram Smith, he was meh in the practices, but he showed out in the game just as a tough runner. And who's the tallest running back on free agency? I have no idea. Matt Murray is a killer athlete, man. Woo. Okay, let's talk free agency really quick, and then I'm gonna get my guys in here, the Texans House leaders, real quick, and then we go end the stream. Free agency. In terms of our free agents, I really hope we can bring back Malik Collins. I really hope we can bring back Cam and Goodrich Hills. They had great years in this system, and I would expect Lovie to keep the same system. So they'll be good fits in that sense. In terms of Desmond King, I'm kind of impartial on him. He isn't supposed to be an outside corner, but they made him into an outside corner. And he improved over the course of the season, but that's just kind of not where he's best at. So I'd be okay with him going. I'd be okay with him staying. In terms of offense, you got to go after some guys on the interior of the offensive line. James Daniels is one of my favorite out of Chicago. Kyron Williams could be an interesting one out of Dallas. He's kind of been up and down, but he would be an upgrade over what we've had. Laken Tomlinson out of San Fran would be huge. That would be like a dream signing. Brian Allen, the center out of the Rams, would be another dream signing if you really want to get your hopes up. Running backs, I know a lot of people want Leonard Fournette. And he would fit our power running scheme perfectly, man. He really would. Alex Kappa in free agency, that would be a good one. That's another good one. Yes, sir, Benning. Or not Benning. I saw UC Penning as right tackle, and I saw Balin, and I put them together as Benning. My bad, my guy. What do we do with Lovie? Oh, Lonnie. Oh my God, my eyes are losing it. What do we do with Lonnie? Keep him in my corner, man. Keep him in my corner. He's a good cover 3, cover 2 corner. He'll be fine. Let him have another full off-season learning corner. He'll be okay, man. He'll be okay. He wants to be good so badly, dude. Sony Michel could be an option. I don't think he's been that good, man. Robbie Tanya would be awesome. Some tight ends. That would be interesting for sure. Pep likes to run a lot of 2 tight end sets based off the stuff that he's shown with the Colts and the XFL. So getting another guy to complement Brevin, and especially more as a blocker, that would be huge for sure. Basically, can cherry pick any Packers or Saints free agents. Interesting. There's some safeties I would love for us to go after. One guy who's kind of under the radar is Jordan Whitehead. He's a safety for the Bucks. So he's got Super Bowl winning experience, and he's young. His rookie contract just came up, so he's young. Let me look at his exact age. That would be kind of like my dream signing of the offseason. Jordan Whitehead, age. I typed Jordan Whitehead, Sage. He's 24. Yeah. 24-year-old safety. That would be my dream guy. Let me see his stats. In 14 games this year, he had 2 picks, 8 pass breakups, a forced fumble, 73 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and a quarterback hit. He'd be nice as a strong safety, man. Very nice as a strong safety. Chris Godwin. We ain't getting Chris Godwin. Let's be honest. Draft Lindenbaum and sign Kappa, and the interior gets 100% better. I would love, dude. Lindenbaum's best center in the class. I said we draft running back on day 3. Yes, that's a great point. And that's what I want to emphasize with this team building discussion that we're having here is I get so many questions about which running backs do the Texans draft. Who's the best running back in the draft? Who do you want as the Texans running back? And we need to prioritize offensive line, man. Barry Sanders couldn't run behind that damn line last year. So we need to fix that O-line before we even think about going after a running back. So I'm prioritizing my day 2 picks on O-line and then go get your running back on day 3. Day 3 running backs I like. Tyler Algier out of BYU. Tyler Goodson out of Iowa. Abram Smith out of Baylor. Tristan Ebner out of Baylor. Damien Pierce out of Florida if he's there in day 3. I like those guys, man. Someone also asked me who do I think is the best running back to fit this scheme in the 3rd round, and Kyron Williams out of Notre Dame popped up in my head. He would be one of the few running backs I'd be okay with taking in the 3rd round, just because he's such a perfect fit. He reminds me a lot of Josh Jacobs. Just a physical downhill runner, going to break tackles, going to stiff arm you. He likes to work between the tackles and power and gap schemes, but he's also an elite pass protector. Elite, best in the class, best running back in the class. And I'm tired of seeing David Johnson and Rex Burkhead miss blitz pickups, man. Tired of it. Zamir White from Georgia is another perfect one. Matt, you on the money with that. He's got a lot of tread on his tires, but he's a perfect gap power back. The other guy would be James Cook, the other guy at Georgia. He's a little bit more of a receiving and change of pace back, but he has experience running behind gap power, man. So he's good. He'd be electric, man. I think he's probably going to go in the second round, though. His stock's been rising. All right. I'm going to get my Texans Thoughts team leaders in here. We got Money, Matt, we got Jay, and we got Ryan lined up already. I love it. If you guys want a chance to call into the stream, man, join the Texans Thoughts team. The link is in the description. You join as a leader, and you get that perk to join in, and we get to call in and get to talk about stuff, man. We need fresh legs at running back. Yes, I would agree. Rex Burkhead's under contract, but we need more youth. Bring back Scotty Phillips, draft another guy, and then add another special teams back, man. That's what I would do. Mock draft? We could do a little mock draft with the Texans Thoughts team leaders if that's what they want to do. Alrighty. Gonna join them up. I'm gonna do a roll call for y'all so y'all know who each person is. Boys, how y'all doing? I see all y'all wanting to make We're good. Okay.
How's it going?
Hey, there we go. All right, a quick roll call. Ryan, say hello.
What's up?
There we go. Jay.
How you doing?
Beautiful. And last but definitely not least, not with his bank account, Money Matt.
What's going on, everybody?
Let's go. Alrighty. These are three of our Texans Thoughts team leaders. I guess Joey is busy. It is what it is. But yeah. Okay. First question for y'all. We're going to go in order of just how y'all are on my screen. So Ryan, Jay, and Money Matt. Thoughts on the not the Brian Flores. Oh my God. I got my hopes up there. On the Lovie Smith hire as head coach. Ryan, take us away.
Mid. We're fighting for mid. It's like those two mid girls who are having that mid-off meme.
No, you do not just compare Lovie Smith to a mid-ass
Well, I mean,
girl.
I'm saying at this point, like, we know what he is.
Yeah.
He knows what he is.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not bad. It's not the best.
I'm with you on that, Ryan. I'm with you on that. I'm really am. And we were DMing earlier. Give me your thoughts on Nick Caserio, man, because I'm kind of in the same boat as you.
Nick has messed up big time on this. And, maybe it was someone else in the interviews or, like, demands being put on him from someone else. But the way this all went about, it does not look good on him at all. I know he has that job security, but it's just not something that you would expect from someone.
Yeah.
It's been so long under Bill Belichick to fumble like this.
Well said, Ryan. Well said, man. It's not the reality we want to think about, but these are the facts, man. It is what it is. All right, Jay, thoughts on the Lovie Smith hire?
I gotta almost agree with Ryan. It could have been a lot worse, right? We could have had Josh, right? Which he wasn't ready, and he's not going to be ready for years. But it would have been a bad look. But we could have had so much better. Not saying Lovey's bad, but there's younger coaches that could have been here for the long haul. That's not a bridge coach. That's just a bad look. And I kind of agree with y'all. Like Nick fumbled the bag on this. Like he had the opportunity to do the right thing, or in fact, the whole front office had the opportunity to do the right thing, and they failed again, showing that they're willing to live in mediocrity.
Yep, that's a great point, and that's something I forgot to bring up. Is that this Lovie Smith hire, like I mentioned it earlier, he's going to be better than David Culley. I can definitely see this team improving their win total, becoming a 5-6 win team. But what it does is it's a safe hire. It's a safe hire for Cal. It's someone they already know. who's already been in the building, who's been a 3-time head coach, so there's less risk. And he's a guy that players are gonna love, and the fans are gonna love, because how could you not love Lovie Smith, man? And so it's gonna get some more fans back into the empty ass seats that we experienced last year. So from that sense, it's definitely a safer hire by Cal McNair, man. I feel your, I wouldn't even necessarily say it pain, Jay, but I feel your thoughts, man. I feel it, man. Money Matt, thoughts on the Lovie Smith hire?
I definitely agree with Ryan and Jay, but I really like the hire simply because it was a safe pick. I don't like how we got there and how we did it, because we wasted so much time when, if this was going to be the outcome, we could have just made it simpler and hired him last season. But anyway, I think this is a good signing because we actually have a draft to look forward to this year. And with the experience that Lovie Smith has, he's going to be able to control the locker room. Like you said, the players love him. So he's going to be a good mentor for the young guys that are coming in and the players that are already there. So I like the signing.
I think so too, man. I think that's definitely an important aspect of it, is that players absolutely love Lovie, man. Absolutely love him. And it's hard not to. I think Beige says it well here. Very underwhelming head coach search for an okay hire, and we hope he does well. End of the day, that's kind of my thoughts as well. It's just very underwhelming. Internal promotions are always really, really underwhelming, because it's like there's no sense of the unknown, and the unknown is risky, but the unknown is exciting at the same time, man. We know exactly what Ryan said. We know what Lovie Smith is at this point. He can be a solid head coach, especially if you give him talent like he had with the Bears, but that's what makes Nick's job even tougher, is that he needs to give Lovie that talent now, or else we're going to see similar results that he had with the Bucs and with Illinois. So Nick's margin for error has really decreased with this hire with Lovie, and he's got to get the rest of the offseason perfect, man. He's got to play the game, and he can't miss any more shots. He really can't miss any more shots. All right, next question for you guys is, I'll do this really quick, and I'll let you guys ask me some questions if you want. Who do you guys want at 3? Let's start with you, Ryan.
I'm going to go Hamilton or trade back.
Hamilton and trade back. Okay. You're going with Hamilton over one of the DNs. I thought you'd be all for a DN.
I think Hamilton can line up anywhere, and if you drop safeties later on, he can play that middle linebacker role if we need him to.
Yes, I remember that's a conversation we've had a while ago, is if Hamilton just bulks up like 10 more pounds, man, he's the perfect Mike for this system. So that'll be interesting for sure. Jay, who do you want at 3?
This one's a tough one. I like Hamilton at 3, but if any of those players, other players that we want, Kayvon, Aiden, if they're there, that's hard to pass up as well. And I'm more in the, I've said this last stream that I was on, I'm a pick whore. Like, I would prefer to like trade back, because there's a lot of teams that are going to want a quarterback.
Yep.
And they have to jump 2 teams to get it. So I think we can make that number 3 pick highly wanted, highly coveted, and we can still get possibly one of those players.
Yeah, I agree.
Further back.
I definitely think Kyle Hamilton has the highest chance of falling, and I think it was Todd McShay. It was one of those draft experts out of ESPN that has been reporting Kayvon Thibodeau potentially falling out of the top 5. And why is that? Well, it's something I mentioned earlier on an earlier stream, is questions about his work ethic. And I hadn't seen the reports at that point, but I was kind of going off of what I was seeing in kind of press conferences, interviews, and just kind of other content that he's been in. That dude is a very good businessman. Very smart dude. he's a chess like whiz. Very smart dude, and he knows that football isn't everything. He has an opportunity right now to make a lot of money, to promote himself, and to be a businessman on top of being a football player. And that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, even if you have a good team around you, man. So that's kind of my worry. It's not even necessarily like a work ethic thing. It's mainly just that like he might be spreading himself too thin, with all the business ventures that he's going with. So that has been a bit of a concern for me, especially because he's a player that needs so much refinement. It would mean less to me if it was Aiden Hutchinson in this scenario, but it's not. All right, that's my mini rant. Money Matt, at 3, who's your pick or trade down?
I think it all depends on who's there. So say the Jags do take offensive line at number 1, and if Aiden goes number 2, I say Hamilton is the pick at 3. But if we don't do that, I think we should trade down, because then we can either get Karlaftis or Stingley with probably, or not Stingley, but
Both.
Sauce or Andrew Booth and get more assets for the future or later on in the draft. So
I like it.
It all depends on who's there, really.
Fair enough. That's a good answer. It always depends. The draft never goes as we expect it. So it'll be interesting to see these next few months, man. Do you guys have any questions for me that you want to hear? Any topics that I haven't touched on? As big as you want, as little as you want, what I have for breakfast, like whatever you want.
What did you have for breakfast?
Dang it. I hope you weren't going to say that. I didn't eat breakfast, but I guess the first meal of my day, I went to a coffee shop and I got this breakfast sandwich. And it was fire, dude. It had like this brioche bun, had some arugula, some cheese. Oof. It was good, dude. It was good.
Italian chef kiss meme right there. Greatness. Now the real question is, how bad was the jet lag from flying back stupid early in the morning?
Oh, dude.
Canada.
Oh my god, yeah. So I came back from the Senior Bowl last week. My flight was at 5:30 Central Time, and I ended up getting home at like 11:30 p.m. or not p.m. 11:30 Pacific, so that'll be 1:30 Central Time. So it was like a 8-hour trip overall, and it wasn't horrible. But man, I passed out. I had the best nap of my life that afternoon, dude. Oh my god, I woke up, I thought it was the next year. I thought we were in 2023 already. I thought Lovie Smith had already been fired and we got Josh McCown as the head coach. Nah, I'm playing. But yeah, man, the jet lag hasn't been too bad, honestly. I woke up at a decent time today, and so we'll see, man. It's been okay. Ryan, you got anything for me? Man, I don't know if I've ever heard you silent. You always want to know something. You always want to talk ball.
What scheme do you think would counteract Lovie's?
What do you mean by counteract?
What offensive scheme?
Like, as in, what scheme would be really tough for Lovie to stop?
Yeah.
Okay. I think a team like the Niners, with their running game and with their wide zone, a lot of the wide zone stuff that they do, number one, like, teams with a run heavy scheme are going to hurt us because we were last in run defense last year. And with Lovie's defense, I mean, it's kind of similar to how people talk about Brandon Staley's defense in a sense that he's playing the pass more so than he's playing the run. He's not going to stack the box. He wants his 2 safeties deep. He's going to sell out a little bit more for the pass, right? And so these run-heavy teams that are happy to just run on first, second, and third down are going to kind of take advantage of that and potentially eat that up. And with the Niners, with how diverse they are, there's the wide 9 stuff, which really goes after our cornerbacks and forces them to be, tacklers on the edge and contain the run, which we're not good at. And then there's also the gap power stuff that they've been doing, a lot of counters and stuff. So I think they would be a really tough matchup. And we didn't necessarily see that in the game, so that's funny. But that sort of scheme that is a diverse running game would be tough to stop. you guys want to do a quick mock draft before we go? We got 4 minutes. I can run through a quick one.
Mock draft Monday?
Mock draft Monday.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking do it.
Because, the beard don't lie.
Let's go. I'll end the stream like that. That's perfect, Jay. I love it.
I think that needs to be the new it needs to be the new one to replace David Coley's cool guys don't look explosions. The beard don't lie.
The beard don't lie. All right, I'll say it in this stream. Do you think you can clip it, one of you guys, and use it? Why is this not letting me select the number of rounds? All right, we're gonna do a Texans thing. Do we want to do a Deshaun trade, or do we want to just kind of roll with what the Texans currently have right now?
Let's just roll with what we have because
I like it.
Let's not get our hopes up too high. That's the message from the past 2 years, right?
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Let's at least just be grateful for what we could get out of this. If no trade is made. All right, y'all can see my screen, right? I believe so. Yes, you can.
God, Neal and Hamilton are both still there.
Whew. I know you're a big Evan Neal fan, Jay, but I think we gotta go with Hamilton, right, guys?
Yeah, if we don't trade back, that's kind of your pick.
I'm
of the opinion you have to build your defense this year, a la the Bucks. It's got to be the play.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think right tackle is going to be the make it or break it position for us.
I think Evan Neal's a freak. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great player, but I think Cal Hamilton's a better player, plain and simple. And he's more of a generational safety, quote unquote safety, than Evan Neal's a generational tackle. So that's my thoughts about it. And funny enough, here at the top of the second, the top 2 players are safeties. So
I know, but I love Daxton Hill.
I do too, man. But I mean, Tavier Thomas has showed me enough at that safety spot, at that nickel spot. It was kind of like, you know who's here? Parham Winfrey.
I know.
Parham Winfrey.
Dude, that's the easy pick. Wow, they got Tariq Woolen going in the 2nd round now. Okay, that's a high jump. Oh, Jamari Salyer was another good guy at the Senior Bowl who showed up.
Yeah.
Man, we ain't gonna be able to get Jalen Peacher in the 3rd anymore, huh?
No.
All right, this pick's easy for me. It's Parham Winfrey. I talked a lot about this stream about going for that 3-tech defensive tackle. I would love for Malik Collins to be back, but he might have played his way out of Houston, man. He had a hell of a year. One of, if not the best year of his career, like, it's probably top 2. So he might be out of here, man. But having Lovie Smith as the head coach would really, you'd hope that he kind of repays the loyalty that we gave him and repays Lovie for, elevating his game. But Parham Winfrey is basically a clone of Malik Collins. Super athletic defensive tackle. 6'3", I believe. 6'4", they have him here. I think he officially weighed in at 6'3", with 35-inch arms. That dude is long. So he's athletic. He's physical. Really good against the run. Really good against the pass. Ooh, I like how this ended up. This board is nice. The board is really nice. Okay.
Is that Darian Kinnard up top?
That is. I really want to take him as right tackle. I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with Arnold Ebiketie because I have a late second on him. So this is great value. Sorry, an early second, not late second. Early second. If we want to go interior, okay, so we got a lot of options. We got right tackle with Kinnard. We got edge with Ebiketie. We got interior O-line with Parham. And we got running back with Kyron Williams. What are you guys thinking? I'll start with you, Ryan.
I'm going to go interior O-line only because if we draft a running back now, who are they running behind still?
Fair. Yep, I agree. Jay?
This is a tough choice.
Right. There's a lot of talented players, and we got to pick at 80, so I'm hoping one of those guys are going to continue to fall, but probably not.
I'm torn between Kyron here. I'm hoping that he's going to be there at 80. But I do think you got to build the trenches.
Okay, Parham, or would you guys? So are you guys thinking Parham as the interior guy or Kinnard as the right tackle? Jay and Ryan.
Parham interior.
Parham interior.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Same.
Okay, Money Matt, you can potentially change this, or what do you think, man?
I agree. I say interior O-line.
All right, man. All right. Yeah, I like it. 3rd round, good value for Parham. He's an ascending player who's yet to play his best football. If Art Bikete is still there, let's fucking go. I think he has to be the move, man. Pairing him across from Jonathan Grenard would give us kind of our defensive end duo of the future, in my opinion.
I mean, I see Sanders right there, and I don't like him.
You like Sanders over Abikete, huh?
I mean, I just like Sanders.
Fair enough. Fair
well,
enough.
but also
Ooh,
right there, I think.
Boye Mafe, one of the stars of the Senior Bowl. Quay Walker would also be interesting if we want to go the linebacker route. Alontae Taylor would be a good fit at cornerback for the scheme. Big dude. James Cook is there. I didn't realize James Cook is this low on their board. Man, there's a lot of good players, man. This makes me so excited for the draft.
Honestly, I might take James Cook.
Right? I think I would go Abikete. That's where my vote is going. But I would not be mad at James Cook, Quay Walker, Alontae
Just
Taylor
let him moves.
either. So Ryan's going with James Cook, yeah? Final
Just
decision?
the way he moves, I think after drafting O-line,
Okay. Yeah. Improve the run
he
game.
could be. Everyone's saying, I've heard a lot of people say that he could be better than his brother. So if that's the case and we take him in the third, that's a great steal.
Yeah, if those are the results, definitely. I personally don't think he's better than Dalvin, but I mean, Dalvin's kind of been getting injured a lot, so maybe he could, man. Jay, what are you thinking here?
Dalvin gets injured because he has to put the entire team on his back. I
enough.
do like James Cook as well.
Okay.
I didn't see him on the board, which is why I was like, I didn't recognize it. But yes, it's hard not to go with James Cook.
Man, he would be a great fit for the power run scheme. I know when I initially like was learning about power or like run schemes in general, I was like, yeah, like zone is like your athletic backs and power is like your powerful backs, right? But that's not really how it works. It's not really how it works. And so James Cook would definitely fit that power scheme as well. Money Matt.
I love my Georgia boys. Give me James Cook.
Okay, let's go 3 for 3. Okay, I like the additions that you guys are thinking about in terms of pairing up, Parham and Cook together and really improving that league worst run game, man. That's gonna help out Davis Mills for sure. He definitely deserves more help in that regard. And after going 2 picks on defense, so it kind of makes sense. Balance it out. Go 2 picks on offense, and it's not
Also,
like we reached. Sorry, go for it, Ryan.
Cook gets small and he makes cuts.
He makes good cuts. He follows
And
pullers
he can
well.
do zone. A lot of running backs can do zone. He can do power very well.
Yeah. Yep.
Because of how small he can get.
Gets skinny between
And
the holes.
And he's basically a wide receiver. Let's not forget that.
That's another big thing. Ooh, there's some good, more interior O-line. I kind of want to double dip and go get Cole Strange or Donovan West and get some more interior O-line help. Especially with how the board is falling. I know your guy there is Bernard, Ryan.
I'm not too high on him.
Okay.
If our scheme is a 4-3.
Yeah, I agree. He's more a 3-4.
Because he's really, for me, like another Zach Cunningham.
Should run and shoot.
Yep. I just don't see it with him at that point for us.
Okay.
Like, I don't see it with Jalen Petrie if we can't use him as a star.
Yeah, that's fair enough. There's 3 O-linemen that I would really like. And with our scheme being a power scheme, I kind of want to go Lecitus Smith because I would also like Cole Strange or where'd he go? Donovan West, but they're more zone guys. So my pick here would be Lecitus Smith. Do you guys see anyone else on the board that are intriguing you? Ryan?
I'm not really seeing anyone who's intriguing me all that much.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I like Jerome Ford, but
yeah, we just got to run back.
Yeah,
Khalil Shakir would be cool as a wide receiver.
I like Zamir White. No, well, if we just double dip on Georgia's running backs right now,
that'd be interesting.
Make Matt really happy.
Oh yeah. Okay, Jay, what you thinking?
I like the idea of fixing the line
with youth,
but I'm wondering who's going to be there in free agency, and that is a legit question. You said it's Lecitus or Lecitus?
I think it's Lecitus, but to be honest, I've never heard it been said.
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith. Joey would like this pick because it's from Virginia Tech.
True.
So in honor of him not being here, we'll go with that.
Let's do it. Matt, you on board? Or you want another Georgia boy?
I'm thinking that we could. This is what we have right now is good for our O line, and we could just build up the rest in free agency.
Okay.
So I like the idea of doubling down on a Georgia running back, especially with James Cook being that small, shifty back.
Oh,
Have him in
man.
for a couple backs or a couple downs, and then subbing in the Mack truck that is Zamir White to just run straight through your face. I'm taking Zamir White here.
All right, you know what? You sold me, Matt. You
Running
nine
back
sold
by
me.
committee. Let's go.
Two running
This man-
backs. They got the chemistry. They got the lightning with Cook and the thunder with White. I like it, man. I like it.
Let's
Yeah,
take
going
Abram
back
Smith
to-
too.
Will
2005 USC with thunder and lightning here is what this man just said.
You know it. Lasitis, no. Oh, he was almost still there at our next pick. But here, I'd probably look to get a corner. But none of these guys are speaking to me. Josh Thompson, I think, had some of the worst 2020 tape I've ever seen out of corner, but I haven't seen his 2021 tape.
Wow, that's saying something coming from you.
JT Woods is here. GG.
Also, something I meant to add on to earlier was one of the safeties I like in free agency this year, Keanu Neal. So I think that if we could somehow get Justin Reed back, sign Keanu Neal to a reasonable deal, we could have those two locking up the safety, and then Kyle Hamilton just roaming the middle of the field.
I like it, Matt. I like it. Neil definitely brings a fire and a passion that I like on defense.
I think Neil also comes cheap in general.
Yeah, because I think not Georgia. Dallas has been playing him at linebacker, if I'm
Yep.
not wrong.
Yep.
So he's definitely going to be on a cheap deal.
All right, I overruled, even though y'all didn't even say anything because I didn't even give y'all the chance to say anything. But I overruled and took JT Woods because I don't really care.
I like JT Woods.
Hey,
and I know you
he's a
guys
good
would too.
safety.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we got a free safety. I would go here with Charlie Kohler. I think he's maybe the best blocking tight end in the draft, and so getting that this late at 6 is great.
Did he have a good pass catch, like body control, contested catch in practice this week?
Did he have like a good rep, are you saying, or did he kind of show off those traits?
Like, didn't he show off those traits?
I think
this
he
week?
showed off the hands for sure. He was winning a lot of contested scenarios.
Notice that I hope Nick is watching the stream.
All right, Charlie Kohler, you guys cool with that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. And I'm hoping. So I don't know how. I don't know why, but Verone McKinley is here in the 6th, and I know we just got a free safety in JT Woods, but I think McKinley can also play strong. So
Hey, listen, we're having a battle for safety. The loser plays linebacker.
Neil Farrell Jr. is still here too. What the hell? That might be the move, actually.
A lot of these guys are really
Ideal.
versatile too, so
Do we want a DT or do we want another safety? We already got
Pull up the
Winfrey.
DT.
Pull him up.
Pull up the DT. Like, is he a 3-tech?
He's a 1-tech. They don't even have a report on him.
I mean, if he's a 1-tech, we can keep Roy fresh.
Exactly.
Just saying.
We need help on the run defense, man, because we know Lovey's gonna like rotating them. So
And
Also
Lovey
not
also doesn't like two gapping for some reason.
yeah, it's all about philosophy. So DT or safety, Ryan, you're leaning DT.
I'm going DT. That way Roy has someone solid behind him. And that way Roy has fresh legs more often.
I like it. It's not about replacing Roy. It's about helping Roy. I like it. Jay.
Trust the process. Build the trenches.
Build the trenches. Let's go. Okay, Money Matt, you agree?
D tackle.
Let's go. I love Neil Farrell Jr. He's one of my sleepers in this class. To be able to get him in the 6th is huge because I think you could take him in the 3rd or even 4th. And that would be great value right there. So in the 6th is a steal, man. Holy. LSU knows how to pump out these kind of nose tackle 1-tech types. Really good run stuffers. Farrell Jr. is just a really strong dude. Plays with good pad level. Gets off the ball quickly. Really heavy hands. And he ate up the Senior Bowl, man. He was one of the underrated guys that didn't get a lot of national media attention, but he played well. All right.
I'm waiting for from Baylor, who was LSU, who went over with Aranda.
Who is that?
Once he, like, Psychic, Ika,
Oh, I've never even heard of them. I can't lie.
they're 1-tech.
Okay. I hear you. Here, I'd probably go Trey Turner. I think Trey Turner was one of the better wide receivers at the Senior Bowl.
He's this far down.
Yeah, right. And his tape was really good. And he's here in the 7th. I don't know what TDN's doing.
Did
Bro,
I
I'm
see
thinking
Jared
that-
Stearns in this list?
Jarrett Stearns. I think I just saw him. Yep, he's there.
Did
I might go
literally-
Gareth.
All right, I know.
Yeah.
Lighting up the Shrine Bowl, man.
Okay. Jarrett Stearns is it. I know. Ryan's a big fan. Jason's clearly a big fan. Money Matt, you're cool with that. I already made the pick, but you're cool with that, yeah.
I'm cool.
I may have made some fans out of some of my guys, you know.
Alrighty, man. That's going to do it for the mock draft and for the stream. I really like what we did there. And I'm going to close this one out, man. Just join. Sup, fam. Sup, Dime. Beige still rocking with us, even though it's like, I don't even know what time it is, but what's going on with Watson? He ain't playing for the Texans no more, which I don't think he's worth. I mean, he's worth 3 firsts, like 2 seconds and 2/3, but are we going to get that? Yeah. Y'all want 3 first-round picks from the Saints?
You know,
Is the sky blue?
The Saints can't afford him. They're like stupid high and
Hey, they'll pull off.
Cap hell right now.
well, I'm
some
also
different
thinking if
team.
we trade Watson to the Saints, what players are we getting back in return from that defense?
Oh, it's only 5:42 p.m. on Wednesday. Okay.
We can get Bradley Roby back.
We can get Bradley Roby.
Oh man, that would be funny. That would be funny.
I would rather trade him to the Bucks. Give me Antoine Winfield and all your picks.
I like it, man. Winfield's a baller. He's a baller. Alrighty, man. This is going to do it for the stream. Appreciate everyone for tuning in, whether you tuned in for 5 seconds or if you watched all hour and 42 minutes. I very much appreciate y'all's support. I couldn't do it without y'all. I genuinely couldn't, so I really appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Texans_thoughts. Shout out Pat Storm. Shout out Jair. Shout out James and John, Texans Unfiltered. Check out the podcast. I'll be doing one Tuesday, and we'll definitely have some interesting thoughts on the hire for sure. So that's going to do it, y'all. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the week. And remember, the beard don't lie.